Hello and welcome to Winters at Goose Pond. Now that doesn't sound very Jewish, but that's because we're trying to work against type. But we can't hide our what do you think? Our culture. We can't hide our past. We're going to make matzo ball soup because what would Thanksgiving be without matzo ball soup? Break 4 eggs.
There's matzo meal in.
There's matzo meal in a bowl. No, you're going to break them in there. You know why we do that?
In case
Because
it's bad.
No, well that's a good one, but also, you know, if there's one little piece of shell, put it right back. If there's one little piece of shell, then I have to, you know, pick through it. Nice job.
Four.
4. You know how come I know it's 4?
Okay.
Because I'm cheating and I'm using 2 boxes of matzo ball soup mix. You know why I do
Because we
that?
have 14 people in this family. Matzo ball is very nice.
Right, and also because Grandma Frances, when I finally asked her how she made matzo ball so good, she goes, I just used the mix. There's a time limits for that, so just keep it.
You have a whisk.
Yeah, well, the whisk would make sense if I had given her a bigger bowl. I gave her a very small bowl.
So you're a chef. Where did your love of cooking come from?
My love of cooking came, well, you know, my parents got divorced and one wife cooked one way and one mother cooked another way, and so the only way I could sort of keep things consistent in our life was to cook, because nobody knew what they were doing. And, oh, I kind of discovered that if you were a cook, you got out of doing other chores, like cleaning. All right, so now that's good. You can put that in there. And I like to eat. I was at this boarding school a long time ago where if you did poorly in class, they sent you down to the kitchen, and it was like not a punishment at all because everybody in the kitchen was very nice. So same thing, 4 of these. You just double check that that's right.
4 teaspoons of oil.
Yes, and I very rarely,
8
I very rarely use vegetable oil, but we're going to follow the recipe. Yes, so 4 tablespoons because there's 2 boxes. And that's, but I think you want to know about the Jewish cooking.
I do.
So
Are you Ashkenazi or Sephardic?
I'm 100% Ashkenazi, and actually where I got the love for Jewish cooking was what my stepmother took us to our first Seder, and I've never went to a Seder until I was about 12, and then I was really into it because it was so cool that everybody followed this tradition, and and the food was pretty good too. Okay, so you can do this, but we don't overmix this. That's the one piece of advice I will give you. And the other thing we're going to do, because we're going to add just a tiny bit. Oh, because if you overmix it, then you encourage gluten, and you want to keep everything light when you're making. Basically, you're making something called a quenelle. A quenelle is a dumpling, so you want to keep it light. And I'm going to add just a little bit of tonic water. You could add club soda, but I just happen to have tonic, so it'll give it a nice tang. And that's it. So that's going to mix the just mix. Perfect. This is so dry, it's going to soak up every bit of moisture anyway, and the longer it stays in the fridge, the lighter it'll be. I want to shoot the family out of this little bit of egg yolk.
So generous of you.
Well, I mean, you think of the effort the poor chicken went through to give us this egg. I feel like it deserves my respect. here's your matzo ball, and you see how everything's absorbed? Magically, parsley got in here. I don't know how it happened. There was a parsley elf. Okay, so this is the rested matzo ball mixture.
For half an hour, it sat in the fridge.
Sat in the fridge for half an hour. And there's two ways of forming the matzo balls. You can use your hands. You can use a small ice cream scoop, which I wish I had, but I don't. And there's a 2-spoon method. And the 2-spoon method is the way I'm going to go because there's a lot of people, and I have to make kind of small ones, and I want to make them uniform. So, but if you were going to use your hands, which we may end up doing because I may give up the spoon, you always have a little bit of warm water in a bowl so you can wash your hands. So I'll take 1 spoon like that, and I will transfer it to the other spoon. And honestly, that's it.
Fancy.
Yeah, because I can make them fancier, but the more I handle them, the more chance that they will get tough, and I don't want to get them tough. But here, I'll make a fancier one for you. So that's a fancier one. So it has ridges and sides. But this way, I can make sure everybody gets one. So how do you know they're done? You want to know how you know they're done? Well, there's, for one thing, they need to float. And for another, you have to cover them for half an hour. They don't want to be boiling, by the way. They want to be simmering. Notice how I'm kind of going smaller each time? Why am I doing that? Because I want to make sure everybody gets one. And they're going to expand. Why are they going to expand? You know why?
No.
Because matzo meal is actually like a cracker that's been mashed down, and it is incredibly dry, so it's going to take on any moisture. And what did we put in? Remember, we put in egg, we put in olive oil, and we put in a little bit of that club soda. So there we go. And you can see they're already starting to float, which is a good sign, which means they're going to taste good. There's a couple of rules of matzo. Some people say a hard matzo ball is the more preferred. Some people say the lighter than air matzo ball is the way to go. I like the lighter than air, but if they turn out to be hard as lead, then we're going to prefer those. I have to kind of work fast because I need to get a cover on these. Because if they don't stay covered, then they don't cook, because you also want them to cook underneath, but also steam on top, because they're going to rise to the surface. All right. Some people might even say what I'm doing is heresy because I'm not making them little balls. I'm making them more rectangular. But
did you learn how to make matzo balls on your own, or did you learn from?
I actually learned from. I learned from your uncle's grandmother. Because I had always been intimidated, and I used to buy them and pretend they were mine. I used to buy them from like a Jewish deli, like, you know, pre-made.
Did you have a favorite Jewish deli that you went to?
Well, my favorite Jewish deli is Murray's, which is on 89th and Broadway, and they have the best ones. They also make, you know, they're known for their herring, and they're known for their fish, and they're good. So you can see what's happening now. So little bits of the matzo ball are breaking off, which, okay, maybe does not seem like a good thing, but it's a sign that they're probably going to be light. Because the only reason why they're breaking off is because, okay. And the nice thing about it is no hands get dirty.
True.
One more. So you kind of want, exactly, you're sort of squashing it. A little, like you're just ever so gently turning it like that. There. That's actually ready to go in. Good. All right. There we go. There's one more. You'll do the last one, and then we'll get the cover on.
Get ready.
All right, you do this one. This is nicely set up for you. At home, I have a mini ice cream scoop. And I don't even need to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so I'll do the last ones. Want to grab the cover, Arielle?
Yeah.
Big one, not a little one.
Okay, let's cover it up. We're gonna keep it about there, and let's watch the time, 10:54. Let's say 11:25.
Okay, so where did you grow up as a child?
I was born in New York City, Manhattan, actually on the Upper East Side, and we lived in Ardsley for a period of time, and then we moved back to New York City.
Okay, so what social class was your family and how did that affect what you ate?
What social class? You know, it's funny, I remember when we lived in Ardsley, we were the first family to serve avocado vinaigrette. And it was like a big deal, like people, ooh, what is that? And it was just an avocado hollowed out and they put salad dressing in the center. And it was considered, you know, very, like the, you know, ne plus ultra. It was very cool. So I guess we were middle class, upper middle class.
So
We lived 2 blocks from where you lived, but I do remember everybody being very impressed with the avocado. This is in the 60s. Avocado was not worldwide.
So who prepared the meals that you ate at your house?
When I was little, it was my mother, and then after I was about 11, it was pretty much me, because my stepmother was not very interested in housekeeping type things.
So
And she was very young. She had just gotten her driver's license, so
So at what time did you start cooking Jewish food?
I would say I started cooking Jewish food starting at about 14.
And you'd cook it for your
I
family?
would say the first time I made anything Jewish was probably chicken soup, and that was maybe when I was 9 or 10 with my mother.
What was your favorite Jewish meal to cook or to eat?
What was or what is?
What was and then what is?
I think like most kids, it was probably potato pancakes. And now it's still potato pancakes. I think as you get older, the potato pancakes get more sophisticated. You try other things. You try other root vegetables. You know, maybe you put creme fraiche instead of sour cream. Maybe you put a little caviar. You know, but they all end up coming back to being the same thing. It's this wonderful crispy potato pancake with a lot of salt.
So as you've traveled more and you've gotten older, how has this affected your view on Jewish food and Jewish culture?
Well, as I've gotten older, I've realized that there's so many variations on it. Because going to Israel, you realize that all these years you think your Jewish food is one way, and then you go to Israel and it's like, oh no, it has, you know, almost none of that is represented in Israel. And so, you know, it's all those Mediterranean flavors come in. And I used to have somebody who worked in our house that was Moroccan, and although she wasn't Jewish, she knew a lot of Jewish people, and so she showed us some Moroccan Jewish food, which was like the oranges with pomegranate and onions. It was a strange marriage of flavors, but it was wonderful. And so obviously Jewish food crosses so many different cultures. But you're right, the Ashkenazi traditional Jewish meal, which is brisket and, you know, some sort of sweet root vegetable and some sort of, you know, starchy potato, you know, those are the things that I associate with, you know, family and holidays.
What is your favorite Jewish holiday?
I think my favorite Jewish holiday has to be Passover, because it's educational and everybody, you know, there's a lot of food. We all read from the, you know, from the Haggadah. And do you want me to tell you a funny story? So when I met your uncle, I went to your family's Seder for the very first time. That was when I met the family. It was crazy. It was, and it was one of her large ones. So there was like 30 people there. And we were seated at this table with his cousins, and they were hazing me to see whether or not I was like cool enough. And so while I was reading my Haggadah portion, they were breaking off little pieces of matzah and throwing it at my Haggadah. So it was like ping, 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 ping. And I refused to acknowledge them. I just kept barreling through. And then the pieces got bigger, and they're flying in my hair. And I just kept reading, and they gave me a very long portion to read. And I kept going, and I was showered with matzah. And after that, the cousins approved me for further investigation in the family.